Well, my name is Bud Thompson, and I'm here at the Mount Kearsarge Indian Museum here in Warner, New Hampshire. A museum that was started by my wife Nancy and I. We started this museum because we're very interested in the environment. We're very concerned about what was happening to the environment. We wanted to do something about it. And we thought, what better way than to take all these Indian things that had collected over a number of years and use these things to flesh out the philosophy of the native people. And we thought that this would be a good way of doing it. We would have, hopefully, a captive audience for about an hour or so. We would be able to show them the different things that Indians have made and a lot about the lifestyle. And we thought this may open up a new interest among young people particularly, that we must live in harmony with the earth. We must not destroy it as we have been doing for a number of years. I was very impressed a number of years ago, and I heard a comment by Peter Peterson, who had now has, of course, been appointed to ambassador to Vietnam, who said that the ultimate test of a moral society is the kind of world we leave our children. And we're concerned about it, children, our grandchildren, and those who follow, everybody's children and grandchildren. And we thought that if we could produce a museum that had a voice, in other words, a museum that had a guided tour, then we could flesh out, through the use of the artifacts and the conversation of the people, something about the philosophy of the Indian people. So we've been in operation now for 7 years. We have loads and loads of school children come from all the different schools, all over New Hampshire, even some from Vermont. And we've had a few from Massachusetts. We have visitors from all over the world that have come here. So we feel very good about it. We have a good staff that work for us here, that work with us, not for us, but with us. We like to feel they're all part of it. So we've been having a great time. Now, we also have in the museum a place called Medicine Woods. That's a 2.5-acre parcel of land out in the wooded area over here. And there we have all types of plants that are, and trees that are named with labels telling how the Indians use these plants and trees and so forth for food, medicine, and dyes. That's been very much a part of what we have here. We have in the summertime 2 festivals we usually put on. One was called Strawberry Moon Festival in the spring, and then we have Harvest Moon in the fall. We have all types of crafts people that come out and demonstrate the crafts. We have storytellers and all kinds of activity. We have demonstrations of putting up teepees and brain tanning, all types of things. So this is what the museum is about. This is what we're doing at the present time. And I can say, this has been the best year we've had so far. And we're particularly pleased about the young people come here, because there was an Indian chief who came to my school when I was a little boy in the 2nd grade, who touched my heart and why this museum is here today. And he was a person who was a very inspirational man. His name was Chief Sachem Silverstar. He's a Pequot Indian. And he came into our school when he was a little boy. He had to sit all in a circle. And then he explained why we're sitting in a circle, because he said to the Native American, the circle is the most important symbol of all, because the circle connected us to all things. It connected it to each other, and it also connected us to eternity, because when we understand the circle, we can also understand about life itself. He went on to say that if all throughout nature we see this symbol. He said if we took a stick, we could draw a line in the sand. If we could go on and on forever, we come back to where we started, because the earth is round, so is the moon, the stars, the sun, all of it moves its orbit over the circle. We see the circle of the seasons, spring, summer, fall, and winter. We see the hours of the day, morning, noon, and night. When the night's the darkest, we see the dawn break forth, new day, tomorrow, new beginning. We see the waves of the ocean roll out, come back absolute regularity. We see rain coming down, the form of rain, only to fill the streams and lakes and so forth, to quench the thirst of the animals and the people, only to be eventually recycled in the atmosphere to once again come down in the form of rain. And he also said that the interesting part of it is that the water we may be drinking at this very moment may be the same water that's quenched the thirst of dinosaurs, maybe thousands of years ago. A very inspirational person. And it's because of this man, this one man, who came and spent perhaps an hour in our museum that we have the museum today. And that museum is something which we can, of course, tell some of his philosophy of life. I don't think of it as a religionist. I think of it as a philosophy of life that ought to make a Christian a better Christian, a Jew a better Jew, or a Buddhist, or anybody else who comes on the scene. When we love and understand the earth, we treat it with kindness and love, then we'll always have a beautiful world. We have here a canoe made by the Penobscot Indians, who used to make these and sell them, of course, to the tourist trade. I've been always fascinated by canoes because the rivers and the lakes were the highways of America. And in the eastern part of the country here, the canoe is a very, very valuable means of travel. So much easier to travel than traveling through underbrush. It's very, very light to handle, a very, very easy thing to handle. When you got to a place where you had to come out of the water and onto the land, you could put it over your head and carry it. And it was the ideal craft for this part of the country. Of course, birch bark is a very exciting material anyway. You can live in it, you can make teepees out of it, you can make all kinds of containers, you can make the canoes, you can use it to start a fire. Even when it's perfectly wet, it will burn. It was certainly one of the most versatile things that we had here in the eastern part of the country, and you can see why Indians thought so highly of it, and why the canoe did so much to connect people to people. The trade routes that went all around America. Think of people, places like Canada, where half of Canada is the lakes and the rivers and so forth and so on, and it was very handy to travel by canoe and to carry large loads of material for trade. Somebody said, "I hope you never live long enough to complete all your dreams." I said, "I hope I don't, because if I don't have dreams, there's no use of living. You got to keep on dreaming more things, don't you? To keep on moving, keep on wiggling," as a friend of mine used to say. I know a Latvian friend. He was from Latvia, and he used to say, "Charlie, you got to keep wiggling. You got to keep wiggling." He said, "You know." He said, "You settle down," he said, "then you take roots, you become part of the earth, or you die." He said, "You got to keep moving."
Yeah.
So don't catch up with you. Well, thank you for coming out.
So here we are, ready to do business for you.
Notice at the bottom of the
Thank
page
you.
I put in these little quips and quotes and jokes.